you.
My name is Monte Powers. I'm from Chiloquin, Oregon. My people are Modocs and Wintu. Most of my life, I've been with a lot of interaction with the river. You know, even now, I mean, sometimes I can't keep my eye off the water. I'm always looking at it. So I'm more involved with since I've been in Portland, I've been involved with AIM, and trying to get involved with, you see websites on, causes or stuff like that, and I think they had an issue on some river in another country that I was really interested in, China, I think the river was turning red and yellow, and that was because of the mining and uh, different chemicals that they put in the rivers, and I look around on this river, the Columbia, and I see a lot of, it's not yellow or red, it's brown, murky, you know. And then I think of my home, the rivers, the Williamson River is black, or it looks black because of the soil, it's just, it comes out of this mountain head of the river in three spots, three little trickles, and that's what forms the Williamson River, right down to the Klamath Lake, and it's been flowing for probably thousands of years, but even though the soil is black, the water is just crystal clear, and there's not really a lot of pollution there, a lot of the people that live around there, they wouldn't put up with that, People move into Chiloquin area and they start desecrating the land, they're not there very long, They're either told to move on, or, and not just by native people, but, everybody, I'd like to see that more up here, I mean, on these rivers around here, like the Columbia, the Willamette, everybody calls that the gut, and I'm sure it's got 1,000 other names, but it's real dirty, and there's no excuse for that, and these companies are always gonna sidestep the issue, get it into court. It's gonna stay in court for 20, 30, 40 years. Nothing's gonna get done. Maybe a little fine, but that's a slap on the wrist, So I'm starting to see, that there are people, that are willing to step up and, try to make a change, and sadly that more of our people, four colors, black, red, yellow, and white, nobody's really taking an interest, People are like turned the other way. They're more into the material things around them rather than, the water, man. That's life right there, That's like a spirit, that's just, it's dirty, It needs to be cleaned, I try to think of, when I'm at home, I envision, looking at the rivers and I can see our people, my elders from maybe 100 years ago. Try to imagine a little village or a little campsite on the side of the river or by the lake, you know, people fishing, you know, them old women gathering roots, you know, drying fish, you know. That's not done anymore, you know. Maybe in some little communities, you know, up on the Columbia, you know, but I don't really see it down my home anymore, you know. Most people are, like I say, into the material thing, you know, more about computers and phones and drugs, and cars, you know, technology, you know what I mean? So, I always come to the woods, you know, and I go to a river, I always look around, you know, and I always thank the Creator for bringing me here, you know. 'Cause, you know, I mean, you know, always, you know, go to the water, you know, put your hand in the water, feel it, you know. Would you go to that river right there, take a cup, and take a drink? No. You know? And what river would you? You know? That's a question, you know. What river would you feel safe after knowing what kind of chemicals are in the Columbia, the Willamette, the Rogue, the Deschutes River, you know, Eagle River, you know, what's in the ocean, you know. At my home, we have to filter the water right here in Portland. Coming out of the tap, we filter it because there's so much little sediment, you know. You know. What about people that don't filter their water? What are they drinking, you know? People wonder why are all these cancers and these diseases are coming up, you know, and nobody knows where they're coming from, you know, and it's from the water, you know. They let your kids go swim in the Columbia or the Willamette, you know, and then they're coming home with hepatitis A, you know, B, you know, or something ugly that's killing our kids, you know. What are we drinking? You know, I mean, I want to feel safe when I go to the Columbia and be able to swim. You know, I can swim. I'm a fish in the water. You know, but I don't really feel safe in the Columbia anymore. You know, I mean, look at all the chemicals around it. You know, and who decides whether it's right or wrong? Who decides that? You know, I mean, is it right for, you know, the court to say, we'll put it on the back burner for 20 years. We'll deal with it then. You know? I mean, you know, somebody has to pay for that, you know? Somebody does, you know? I mean, you know, we've been trying to put together these ceremonies for the river, you know, and that wasn't just an idea that happened overnight, you know. This is something our people have done for hundreds of years, you know. Come to the water and pray with the water, you know. Offer tobacco, you know, burn some sage, you know, and then, you know, good things will come from the river, you know. Your prayers are, you know, going to the water, you know, and Creator, you know. trying to bring that back, you know, for all people. This is supposed to be a community thing, you know. This is, if people would just open their eyes, you know, and ask, question, you know, who has to pay for that, you know? Because there's no excuse for this, you know, pollution, you know. I mean, I understand we live in a world that's, the weather is changing because, you know, all the chemicals in the air, the ozone is, you know, we're in a greenhouse effect, you know. Um, but, you know, maybe that'll never change, you know. Maybe they'll never start thinking about it until we can't hardly breathe anymore. And everybody has to be on respirators, you know. It wouldn't be safe to go outside and breathe public air, you know. You have to have your house piped in with fresh oxygen, you know. Same way with the water. Myself, if I could make something happen right now, I would, you know. I know I can't, not alone, you know. I need help, you know. I need strength, you know, people to come forward and make it happen.